guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here with a brand new thoughts video for all of you guys, and whew, wow. Quite surprising that we're already in the middle of the month as we speak. Well, hey, I do need a little something since after what I've actually been through with so much hype and excitement I had with, of course, both the Fall Guy and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes beforehand, for sure. So yeah, I guess it's probably what I could say, of course, on that front, for sure. And on top of all that, we're not even at Memorial Day weekend as we speak, so it actually is quite interesting when you really think about it, for sure. And well, I guess since after spending some time and even getting myself caught up on my uploading schedule as we speak, since after I uploaded my 1000th video on this channel, and don't worry about a thing, yeah, it's still gonna go on as normal, so yeah, I do appreciate the patience for sure, of course, on that front, so yeah, I think it's what I could say on, of course, that front, so yeah, I guess since after all that, I guess we might as well return to business as normal with these thoughts videos, for sure. Although I guess from the looks of it, I think I'm already getting close to about 300 thoughts videos as we speak. So yeah, I definitely gotta think about doing something special for that kind of occasion, for sure. To which, thankfully, I did already have one. I do already have one on standby for sure. So I'm just waiting for the right time to actually do that. But of course, right up until that comes around, I guess I might as well get myself settled in with today's movie that I have officially got the chance to go see today, for sure. So yeah, I think that's what I could say, of course, on that front, for sure. And, well, I guess for today's movie that we're going to be talking about here today, well, I think we might as well pretty much dive into a certain subject matter that we have actually seen in other media, but rarely actually talked about in movies nowadays, for sure. And that's saying a whole lot given to plenty of other subject matters in some movies that are well known in other forms of media, but never really explore more in films nowadays, for sure. So yeah, I think that's what I could say, of course, on that front. And I guess in today's movie, for sure, I think I might as well pretty much talk about, or should I say, ask a certain question that I really want to ask all of you. Have you actually been quite familiar with, of course, the media representing imaginary friends? Yeah, I guess if you can put the pieces together, for sure, I think you can pretty much get the idea, of course, what we're going to be in for sure in regards to today's movie I'm going to be talking about here today. So yeah. But in case you actually are quite curious, I think it's about time that we dive right into, of course, the latest movie that just came out not too long ago, which is none other than If. So yeah, that's of course what I'm going to be talking about here today is, of course, the latest film that just came out, and yeah, I actually had the privilege to actually go see it very recently, for sure, so yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alrighty then, so yeah, now that we got that out of the way, I guess I might as well give you guys pretty much some things real quick before we can dive right into talking about this movie. Now I guess if you actually know me hands down, I guess if anything, since I know this movie is, of course, a connection to imaginary friends, for sure, I guess I may know a secret that pretty much just the mere concept of imaginary friends does kind of vary in some ways, for sure. In fact, In fact, I dare even say, I'm pretty sure if you may recall back in your younger days when you were a kid and stuff, we all have the days where we used to have an imaginary friend for sure, whether it be the ones that had pretty much we actually create ourselves, and or of course pretty much the ones that had from other forms of media that you wish were there for sure. So does kind of vary in between for sure, but I think it's safe to say that when we were kids, we were of course had our instances where of course we actually used to have an imaginary friend for sure. And yeah, I think it's safe to say, of course, that front. Now, I guess in terms of other media for sure, whether it be movies, TV, video games, and plenty of others, again, that does kind of vary every once in a while for sure. In fact, some of which that have actually been released over the years have actually been doing quite well for sure over time. So yeah. I think it's kind of hard to say on, of course, that front because, yeah, imaginary friends in pretty much different forms of media for sure does kind of vary every once in a while for sure. Sometimes they could actually appear as like a side character for sure, or maybe have them be the main focus for sure. And I guess in regards to if, it is, of course, definitely on the laggard category for sure. Now, and to be completely honest, I remember when I actually looked at the trailers for, of course, this film. Honestly, to me, based on, of course, what I've actually seen, it does look like there might be some potential on, of course, this one. I mean, okay, yeah, it's nothing really anything that basic, and we've actually seen this concept and seeing other characters like these pretty much done before for sure, but of course, I really do think there is some strong potential, and of course, this on top of this one for sure, and given for the fact that it is, of course, written and directed by a former Office star, John Krasinski. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that I think there might be actually something good for sure that can actually pretty much be something fun and exciting for sure. So, of course, given to that thought, I actually took my time earlier today to finally go and check out this movie for sure, all thanks to the kind people at Crown City Cinemas as always. Definitely full respect to you guys for sure, so yeah, I guess as usual, I did manage to get myself in to go and see this movie earlier today for sure, and well, I guess since I actually got back from, of course, seeing it not too long ago, I bet a lot of you guys are wondering, what do I think of this movie now that I finally got the chance to see it? Well, I guess if anything, based on, of course, what I've actually seen, I think this film is actually pretty decent. Yeah, I guess that's probably the best way I can actually put it for sure. It's not by all means pretty much great, but it's not terrible either. I definitely do think it's actually a pretty decent flick for sure. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way I can actually describe if for sure. Yeah, it is of course alright, and yet somehow a passable family flick from what I can gather for sure. So yeah, that's probably the best way I can actually describe it entirely. It is okay at best, but still somewhat passable in the end for sure. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say on, of course, that front. Alright. Okay, so now that I've actually got the short version out of the way, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about everything that I need to talk about with, of course, this film. For starters is, of course, the story, and honestly, I think from what I can actually gather in terms of its story, I really do like some of the strong possibilities that they actually had to put out, like, of course, on paper, it actually does look like it actually does have some really good ideas thrown into it, while in execution, it actually does deliver on that just fine, but of course, other times I just kind of felt some things were kind of derailing the plot for a little bit, but that doesn't make it bad in any way. I do like a good number of stuff, or a good chunks of course, the story from what I can gather that really has got me engaged from what I can gather. Even a good number of scenes, I will have to say, actually do flow out just so well for sure. But I guess it isn't saying a whole lot, but maybe I'm getting way too ahead of myself for sure, so yeah, that's of course what I can say for of course the story for of course this movie. It does have a lot of strong possibilities, and the movie actually does deliver well on that. But of course, for other times, I just kind of felt pretty much some parts of it might have actually derailed the plot for a little bit. Yeah, and hasn't really garnered anything that would actually make it all more strong and interesting from what I can gather for sure. So yeah, that's of course what I can say, of course, that front. And of course, the writing, I have to say, honestly, to me, I think, yeah, like I said, I think there is a lot of strong possibilities, and even on paper, it actually does deliver well. But of course, again, in execution, I just kind of felt the writing in this film was just somehow a bit too sloppy from what I can gather. Like they do have some really nice and unique elements to actually make it all the more great. But when you actually see it play out on screen, it just kind of felt a little bit disjointed in a good number of areas to actually, well, not making it all the more fun and exciting for sure. So even the comedy, I have to say, for while some have actually got me a bit of a chuckle for sure, other times I just kind of felt it was a bit out of place from what I can gather, and even some pretty much a good number of gags and jokes for sure. I just kind of felt kind of missed the mark from what I can gather for sure. So yeah, that's of course what I could say. Of course, all those aspects in a nutshell for sure. They do have a lot of good ideas, and even some strong possibilities to actually make it all the more engaging for sure. But I'm not really digging on what's been given to me on screen, and it just kind of felt a little disjointing in a good number of areas for sure. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say. Of course, that front. Alright, so yeah, now that I've actually got those out of the way, I'll go ahead and talk about the next couple of things that I need to mention for sure. Like of course, for the next topic that I need to talk about in regards to this movie is, of course, the characters. And honestly, if there's anything positive that I can say for, of course, this film, I really do have a good sense with, of course, the characters for sure. I'm not even joking when I say pretty much most, if not all of them, have actually got a good sense of a bit of development from what I can gather. Not fully from what I've actually seen, but still actually some fine development given to them to actually make them all the more likable for sure. And I actually do understand some of the flaws and problems that they need to overcome for sure to help complete their arc entirely. And yeah, given to what I've actually seen, I really do think the characters actually pull through with what I can gather for sure. So yeah, I think it's what I can say for, of course, the characters and, of course, this movie. Now, for the actors that came on board to play all these characters, I'm not gonna lie, I think with some pretty decent casting that they actually did for sure, I really do think pretty much the actors actually did pull off some pretty good performances for sure. I mean, it's not enough to actually make it all the more great for sure, but I still think the acting in this film is actually pretty good for sure. Like, of course, a couple of examples I can give is that Ryan Reynolds is actually pretty much has actually given off a pretty good performance to make his character work for sure. And as another good example, Steve Carell actually does do a fine job portraying his character just fine for sure. So yeah, those are of course a couple of examples from what I could give pretty much in regards to the acting for sure. While for the rest, on the other hand, again, they are, yeah, I guess they actually did pull off some pretty good performances for sure, and yeah, I guess given to the decent casting that they actually did, I think they did their best to actually make their roles work for sure. It's not enough to actually get me invested all the way, but I really do think they really pull through with the material that they're giving for sure. So yeah, those are of course what I can say for of course those couple of aspects in a nutshell for sure. So yeah. Alright then. So yeah, now that I've actually got those two out of the way, what else is there for me to talk about? Actually, quite a whole lot for sure. Yeah, I guess if anything, pretty much in regards to the next point that I need to mention is, of course, the visuals and the effects. And I'm not gonna lie, I guess on top of the pretty much nicely developed characters and good acting for sure, if there's one thing that actually did win me over with, of course, this movie for sure, I do think the visuals and the effects are actually quite amazing for sure. I'm not even joking when I actually say I really do think pretty much the visuals and the effects from what I can gather actually do work well for sure. And I really do admire, of course, what they've actually pulled through it, of course, this one for sure. Like of course, each and every single one of the imaginary friends, or ifs as they like to be called, they actually do look outstanding. And I really do admire, of course, what I've actually seen for sure. Like, of course, yeah, like of course, I think they really have some really nice and unique designs that almost kind of make it look like something out of a cartoon or something from your dreams for sure, that you definitely would be up for seeing in real life for sure. And I really do like, of course, what they've actually done for sure. Like, of course, pretty much you got this pretty much purple monster-like creature that is, of course, all the more playful and cuddly, which is actually quite nice. And of course you got like a pretty much one that actually looks like a 1930s to 1940s butterfly from those old 30s and 40s cartoons that also is a bit of a ballet dancer, and that's just to name me a few. And again, I really do think they pull through with, of course, what I've actually seen. I really do admire how well all the ifs actually look, acting like they are actually right there in front of you for sure, which I really do admire from what I can actually see for sure. And even the good amount of textures and color from what I can gather actually do work quite well for sure to actually make them all the more lifelike entirely. And even the pretty much their surroundings to go alongside it, I do think actually works quite well for sure. So yeah, and that's just to name me a few from what I can gather. That's how great the visuals and the effects are in, of course, this movie for sure. And of course, as a bit of a side note from what I can gather, I do hear that all the other critics who have actually seen this movie somehow compared this movie to the Cartoon Network show Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And truth be told, they're not lying, of course, at that front for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am admitting to that for sure. I did have fond memories watching Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends when it was on at the time, and I really did love that show as a kid. Though, come to think of it, maybe I should think about getting the entire series on DVD to pretty much, to of course look back on it pretty much and see how it holds up now compared to back then for sure. But of course, pretty pretty much of anything, I do kind of get that similar vibes from what I can gather. I think it's mainly on seeing all the ifs on screen for sure, to which, yeah, I guess it's actually fair enough from what I can gather, and yeah, pretty much with all that put together, I do see where they're coming from, but I guess the only difference is that compared to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, this movie, however, actually is pretty much a bit more opened up, meaning that we can actually see all the ifs out and about, as if they're pretty much with us for sure, whether it be with other people as well, or anyone else from what I can gather, particularly our main heroes for sure. So yeah, I do admire, of course, this film actually trying to do its own thing rather than be a carbon copy of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, but then again, that's just what I can gather on my part for sure. Maybe some people actually viewing it differently from what I can gather, so yeah, that's of course one side note that I need to get out real quick for sure, so yeah, now that I've actually got that out of the way, I think we might as well go ahead and move on for sure, and of course, pretty much from what I can gather, and I think for one thing I actually do admire is that pretty much the musical score from what I can gather, and yeah, I am actually talking about the music, and of course, yeah, the musical score, of course, this movie, and to me, I don't think it's that bad from what I can gather. I mean, if you actually listen to it yourself in other movies for sure, you would definitely know the music in this film does kind of have those similar vibes that you've seen in plenty of other family films in the past for sure, to which is kind of expected from what I can gather, but it's not terrible by all means. It's just not really something that I can really get myself in for entirely, and even the choreography, pretty much in a good number of dance numbers that only appear on screen briefly from what I can gather. And yeah, I'm only mentioning that right now because it was featured in the trailers for sure, to which, if you know exactly what I'm talking about, you'll see what I mean, to which, again, not bad from what I can gather. It just, it almost kind of makes me think, am I expecting a musical at this point? Though, come to think of it, maybe I think this movie would have been interesting if they would have made it as a musical entirely. I'd be all for it. Hell, I dare even say I wish that would have been something I brought my mom over to see this movie with me for sure, so yeah, that's pretty much one thing that I can actually mention real quick. So anyways, back on topic now. Now, of course, the direction in this film from, of course, the film's director, John Krasinski. I will admit, for while I pretty much, for while I do admire his directing style, and of course, the first two Quiet Place movies that are definitely awesome by the way, I think he really pulled through, of course, all that. While here in this movie, however, it's not by all means bad by all means. I think it's a little bit more mellowed down compared to the last two films that he actually directed, but again, he did actually work with pretty much work well with the material he's trying his best to actually give out for sure to really make this movie work for sure, to which I do applaud him for that, and yeah, I guess, if anything, it's not by all means terrible from what I can gather, but he did try his best to actually make it work for sure. And of course, the cinematography for sure, I think they actually did pull off some pretty good camera shots that pretty much really caught my eye for sure, that I really do admire in such a way, but again, I think it's more on the lines of good, but not technically great from what I can gather, but some of the shots they actually pulled off are actually pretty decent at best from what I can gather, So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, on that front. And of course, the editing, I have to say, honestly, to me, I just don't think it actually worked quite well entirely, as it was a little bit caught up here and there. That doesn't really flow out quite well with everything that goes on for sure. Even the tone and the pacing, I have to say, just kind of feels a little out of place from what I can gather, that I just couldn't get myself fully into entirely. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I can say. Of course, all those aspects in a nutshell for sure, and I think you can pretty much get the idea, of course, what I actually mean by that. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alrighty. Alright, so I guess on that thought, that's pretty much what I can say for, of course, this movie. So yeah, I guess overall, if I will have to say, I don't technically think it's actually that great of a movie, but then again, it's not terrible either. I don't hate it all the way for sure, but I guess with what I've actually seen, I definitely do think it actually is a pretty decent and yet passable family flick that you can easily get through just fine for what it is. In fact, I'm willing to bet it's, of course, one of those movies that you might actually play in the background, and you actually would take a good glimpse of it for a moment to admire some good stuff that they had to offer, and then just probably move on to, of course, other things that you've already got to keep yourself occupied for sure. And I think that's probably the best way I can actually describe this movie for sure. So yeah, again, I think there is a lot of strong possibilities with, of course, all that for sure. And yeah, and I guess I give it to what I've actually seen. I do think a good number of stuff they actually put into, of course, this one actually does work well to the film's advantage, and I really do want more of those for sure. Do I want it to actually be a little bit more thrilling and engaging that will actually get me hooked on all the way? Absolutely. I mean, I've seen plenty of other family films that have actually been absolutely amazing over the years, some of which have actually been my all-time favorites for sure. And again, based on, of course, what I've actually seen in the trailers, I do think there is a lot of strong possibilities from what I can gather. Maybe I think maybe, I guess, with maybe a few adjustments here or there, or maybe pretty much adding something that pretty much that can actually overcome, of course, what the characters are going through and see their flaws and how they're willing to fix all of that, as well as, of course, have a little something that doesn't believe in them and want them to exist all together, but actually have our main heroes come along and actually come to their senses and actually make them go from being a bad guy to a good guy again. Yeah, all that and more, yeah, I think if they would have actually done all those adjustments here and there for sure, I think we could actually get ourselves a much more stronger flick from what I can gather. And again, based on what I've seen in the trailers, I do think there's a lot of strong possibilities with, of course, this film for sure. And I guess in the end result, pretty much a good number of stuff are actually done well in some areas, while the rest I just kind of felt didn't really flow out quite well for sure. But again, that doesn't make this film terrible from what I can gather. I do like a good number of stuff in this movie for sure that really has got me engaged all the way, and I do wish I would actually see more of those for sure. But I guess I give it to what it is. It is what it is for sure. So yeah, I don't necessarily think this movie is great, but it's not terrible either. I definitely do think it's actually okay at best. So yeah. I know it's kind of hard to say on pretty much if this film's gonna leave a massive impact on me for sure, but I bet other people might like it just fine, and that's okay. Hell, I dare even say if there's any little kids around, I bet they would probably like it a whole lot more for sure. So yeah, that's of course what I could say, of course, that front. And well, I guess if it's something up your alley for sure, then by all means, I'm not stopping you for sure. I definitely do think this movie might actually be well worth checking out for sure. So yeah. I don't necessarily think this film is good nor bad entirely. It is, of course, a decent and yet passable family flick that you can easily get through for over an hour and a half just fine for sure. And I think that's probably the best way I can actually put it. Pretty much decent and yet passable, but also pretty much harmless at best for sure. So yeah, that's of course why I could say for sure. So again, I guess if it's something up your alley and something you're actually looking for, then this movie is for you. So yeah, that's of course why I can't say of course that front. So yeah, for my final score, yeah, I'm definitely being fair on this one, so I'll give this movie a 6 out of 10 as my final score for sure. Yeah, again, it's not by all means great from what I can gather, but it's not terrible either. I definitely do think it's actually a pretty decent and yeah, both a passable and a harmless family flick that you can easily get through just fine for sure. And I guess if it's something that you might actually be interested in, then yeah, I say it might actually be well worth it for sure. Yeah, I know you're probably not gonna get much from what I can gather for sure, but I guess if it is something that that would help pass the time for sure, then I think this movie is pretty much a harmless one to check out for sure. And it's definitely one of those that you can definitely look back and say, yeah, I think this movie is fine for what it is. And yeah, I think that's definitely the best way you can actually put this movie for sure. So yeah. Alrighty. Alright, so I guess on that thought, that'll pretty much do exactly that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this latest thoughts video, and by all means, I want to ask all of you guys, what do you think of if you've actually seen it for sure? Do you absolutely enjoy it and think it's pretty much incredible all the way, and it's well worth an hour and a half to 2 hours of your time? Or do you absolutely hate it and think it's an absolute embarrassment all the way? Or are you like me, where you think it's okay at best, but still a pretty harmless and yet passable family flick for sure? So yeah, let me know what you thought of this movie down in the comment section below. I would definitely love to know what you guys think of it for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest thoughts video, and well, I guess since I did mention that Memorial Day weekend is of course coming up, I think we pretty much we all know, of course, pretty much not one but two movies we're actually gonna be looking at next for sure. And I think you pretty much know exactly what I'll go see next for sure. One, of course, pretty much an orange cat that absolutely loves lasagna but absolutely hates Mondays. And, of course, pretty much a spin-off movie to a well-known movie series directed by George Miller that is enough to actually make you say, oh, what a day! What a lovely day! So yeah, I guess I'd give it to those two hints for sure. I think you can definitely see what I'll be talking about next for sure. So yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know on what I thought about those two movies I'll go see next for sure. And oh yeah, I guess I kind of forget to mention one thing in regards to if. At least it's better than what Blumhouse gave us with Imaginary. Admit it, you all thought that movie was terrible for sure, and you would definitely know that If is actually way better than Imaginary. I mean, I actually thought that, and even I know that movie is horrible, and I've I haven't even seen it. I saw the trailer though, and yeah, it's kind of hard to say what I thought of it now compared to pretty much the movie itself. Holy crap, I'm getting way too ahead of myself again. But yeah, regardless of that, right up until I'll talk about the next couple of movies and of course my next thoughts videos for sure, all I can say as usual, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon for making today's video possible, including my top tier supporters for this month, VD. So if you want to be like these guys and show your support to us, then go to patreon.com/AckleyattackTV to pledge now, do so, and get some awesome rewards within your budget. Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and share if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you like what you see here and want to see more videos coming up, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and switch on the notification bell to get notifications, and select all notifications to be notified for when we post a new video. And don't forget to switch on notifications on your phone as well. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel and our 2-member channel with Sam the Thomas Fan 1, SamAttack4427TheThomasFan1 Productions, for plenty more content you can't find on here. You can check both of our channels out with the links or by our handles provided on screen. Feel free to shoot me an email with my email address provided, backley95@hotmail.com, if you want to ask me a question, want to collab with me for a project you've got in the works, or if you want to book me to be featured for a convention coming up. Follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with me on updates, announcements, and new releases of my videos, as well as plenty of others I've got with my handles provided, as well as the links down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok for other videos I've got aside from the ones I've posted on YouTube, and on Twitch for any future live streams I've got coming up soon, as well as join our official Discord server to see what we've provided. If you wish to show your support to me, then feel free to check out my Patreon to get sneak peeks of my videos coming up before they go up online, as well as getting access to updates and plenty more, in addition to getting some awesome rewards within your budget. Also, don't forget to check out and show your support to me on my wishlist on Amazon, and even supporting me at streamlabs.com/AckleyattackTV/tip that you can find in the description box below, as well as on my Twitch page. And in case you can't find any of the links that are provided, then not to worry about a thing. All the links and stuff are also provided on my link tree that you can also find in the description box below, as well as a few selected number of my social media pages. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Take care.